T. Sharon, hello.
As a nutritionist, a business owner, and a new mom, my time is extremely limited, but prioritizing the health of my family is an absolute must. Thankfully, Thrive Market makes shopping for the best.
Sorry about that. I had forgot to turn the sound off. Hi, T. Sharon. How you doing today? And there's Gladys. Hello, Gladys. Yeah, I just decided to try to go in live this afternoon just to see how many people were able to come in. It's been a dreary day all day, up till maybe 20 minutes ago when the sun tried to come out. It's still pretty chilly. That wind blowing makes it even cooler. I mean, it's 52 degrees. It's not freezing, but it's not warm. It's chilly out there. And I hope this thing doesn't buffer this afternoon. I'm just going straight through YouTube, not through StreamYard, so we'll have to see what happens with it, I guess. You were watching my video about canopies. Use dirt to hold down your canopy, then you can plant. Yeah, I know that, but the dirt wouldn't hold it. And I can't dig holes, so hi, Sherry or Shelly and Tanya, Diana. Oh, Shelly, you never sent me your mailing address. You need to send me your mailing address so I can send you that ring. Yeah, I was thinking about getting 5 or 4 more 5-gallon buckets and putting a 5-gallon bucket to each corner post and filling it with rocks to weight it down and then pour concrete in it. That way the legs or the post of the canopy can't be pulled out of the dirt. You know, once you put concrete in there, the legs are not going anywhere without that whole bucket of concrete. But I don't know. I'm going to have to see if I can fix the top of it. So I don't know if it's worth trying to fix. Well, I've looked on my email and I've not seen it. Let me look again. Okay, I got it. I got it now, Shelley. I'm not sure I pronounced your name correctly. You're in Mississippi. Wow. I'll get that ring right out to you then, since now I got your mailing address. Well, see, I had the corner post weighted down with great big boulders, and I had wire wrapped around the boulder attached to that post. The wind, it must have been a small tornado or something, because it picked the whole canopy up, boulder and all, and it moved the boulders back about 7 or 8 feet and then pushed the canopy over. So it was a pretty strong wind to move those boulders. Those boulders were about as heavy as a 5-gallon bucket of dirt, probably heavier. Where are those pancakes? Well, I ate the 2 little ones. That was my breakfast this morning. The other ones I wrapped up and put in the refrigerator. I'll eat those the next couple of mornings for breakfast. The wind there blew your 5-gallon buckets over a couple of times, yeah. It was pretty strong that came through here. Especially on this back side of the house. There's no trees back here in the yard to block the wind off when it comes that way. But there's nowhere on the other side of the yard to put a canopy with a garden because of my trees that are there. The trees are the canopy. Yeah, I got my tax statement. I printed it online from YouTube today. So I got to get busy with my tax papers. I usually fill my own tax forms out. So I'll see about getting a tax form to fill out for this. It's not that big a deal. I can't itemize a bunch of stuff because I just didn't save receipts over the year because I wasn't sure I was going to make anything or not. So we'll see. I know I'll probably have to pay a little bit of Medicare in, but I'm not going to have to pay taxes at all because usually I get all my tax, when I was working, whatever taxes I paid in, I got every bit of it back. So I think when I finally do this, I'm probably not going to have to even pay any taxes in this year. Next year I might if I make a lot more, but I don't think I will this time. Because I'm on Social Security retirement, and they don't take taxes out of that. Your Social Security retirement is not taxable at all. I include it on my tax return, but they don't tax me with it. Yeah, Gladys, I'm sorry you still feel bad. I'm still in that mood of I just can't get motivated. I did get motivated to cut about 4 or 5 inches off my hair. And then after I did it, I wished I hadn't. I mean, it'll grow out fast, but I felt like it was thinning out, so I trimmed it off, But I don't like it since I trimmed it. Well, like I said, it'll grow back out. I'll just fuss about it till it grows back out. Yeah, I'm going to file it since I made that little bit to be square about it, but I'm not going to have to pay any taxes, I don't think. Because like I said, I usually get all my taxes back. The only thing that I'll have to pay is probably the little bit of Medicare that they would take out. Yeah, me too. I didn't make a whole lot this year. Of course, I didn't make anything a couple of the months, the first of the year. I don't remember what month I got monetized in, but Yeah, next year I might have to set something aside, for Medicare. Maybe the first couple of years just paying the Medicare. After that, if I make tons of money, then I may have to worry about paying taxes. But so far, I haven't had to worry about paying taxes. So I'm sure by the time I get through doing that return, it'll show that I don't owe anything. Because if YouTube had taken anything out when I filed the tax return, I would have gotten it all back. So what's everybody been doing today? I know, like 5 or 6 inches off of it back there. I mean, it's still long, but there's a good 4 or 5 inches off of it again. Like I said, I can't get motivated. I did that short video on my pancakes because I was going to fix my pancakes anyway. So I decided, well, if I'm going to make them anyway, I'm just going to make a short video, post it. That'll be my video today. And then I was thinking, well, I may decide to go live this afternoon, which I did. So just to see what happens. I don't know. I felt like it was weighting me down. But I'm just going to let it grow back out. You saw when I was making pancakes, Gladys? Yes, thumbs up. Nine. I think that's what it says, 9. I have to get my head right on top of the camera to be able to see it. I haven't wasted a whole day for working in the garden. Well, it's a little wet out there in mine. I didn't really want to do much around in the garden when it's wet. But I need to pull grass. I need to get weeds and grass out of my rock gardens and some of it out of my pots and totes. Yeah, and I wanted to tell y'all, remind everybody, if you were not in my live, my Thursday night live, and you didn't watch the replay, that Walmart has 18-gallon totes on clearance. The red ones and the green ones only, not the gray ones or the other colors, but the red and the green, the Christmas ones, they've got those on clearance for $5. And I bought 6 of the red ones to put in my garden this year. So you're saving about $3 to buy them now on each one. And Walmart's getting their onions and garlic and flower bulbs and stuff in now. So if you haven't planted your garlic or onions, you need to go ahead and get them planted. They didn't have any at your Walmart yet? Well, it might be because you're in a different time, planting zone. I don't know where. Well, yeah, you're in Mississippi. It's probably a little bit cooler there than here. So you might get yours coming in pretty soon. But you know, I planted my onions and my garlic back in like November and December. And almost all of mine are coming up already. I need to plant a little bit more garlic, maybe one more tote of garlic. Yeah, I'm in zone 8 here. But like I said, you know, onions and garlic, they don't mind the cold, freezing weather. We had freezing cold nights, several nights after I planted mine. They didn't care. My walking onions don't care either. Sometimes the tops will die back, but they'll come right back. Too cold to plant on Long Island. I haven't checked the weather or the forecast for North Carolina, but it looked like my brother had posted on Facebook, I think yesterday or today, this morning, that they were supposed to get snow along the east coast of North Carolina. Yeah, it's 52 here, Kevin, and you got 40 degrees where you're at. Hi, Loretta. How's Loretta doing today? 54 where Shelly's at. Did you? I had to look real close. I thought I was seeing things. You got 82 in Georgia? Oh my gosh. That's warm for Georgia, isn't it? And there's Tanya. I'll tell you, our weather's gone crazy. It shouldn't be 82 degrees in Georgia right now. I mean, you know, that just don't sound right. Dead of winter and it's 82 in Georgia. After 19 Sunday morning, oh wow. Yeah, this weather's crazy. 19 one day and then 82 a couple of days later. That is crazy. You still have snow piled up in spots in town, Shelley? Yeah, the climate is going crazy. I mean, it's cold here when it usually is hot. Hot in Georgia when it should be cold. I mean, the whole world's gone crazy. Yeah, I'm sure you probably will, Tanya. Onion has green tips. Yeah, mine's all got little green sprouts coming up out of the ground. Every one of them that I planted. 59 degrees at 1:21 p.m. in California. Hmm. They don't usually get freezing temperatures in California. That's why they can plant all year long. I mean, they don't have to worry about just choke myself with a piece of candy in my mouth. Yep, garlic will withstand the weather over the winter. That's the reason I went ahead and planted mine back. What? I planted some in November, some in December. I didn't know that. Greek oregano still has green leaves. I'll have to get me some. I'll have to get some parsley and oreganos because I've never planted oregano. Yeah, I do too. But every time I've tried to plant strawberries, they just don't survive. I bought the little plants that you get in a bag, but they looked dead before I even got them, and I planted them, but nothing. They never did anything. Never even came back to life. And then I planted strawberry seeds. Didn't do anything with those. So I've come to the conclusion if I want to halfway even think about having strawberry plants, I'm going to have to buy the whole plant that's pretty and green with strawberries on it. But you know, I bought 2 of those last year and planted them. And it was such a drought that the 2 plants died. Even the 2 green plants that I bought didn't survive. Grows in Italy mountains. That's what I forgot. Cloves still in the freezer. Yeah, I've got a tub of asparagus planted out there. Yeah, they're kind of expensive, I know, at Lowe's. I don't even know if I'm going to try strawberries this year. Well, I have the most luck with my plants if I start everything from seed. And I brought strawberry seed, but I never could get it to come up. It didn't germinate or something. I got to check on using that heating mat. Maybe using that heating mat, I could get some strawberry plants started. I don't know. Yeah, I've read baking soda's good. I usually put Epsom salts and stuff like that on mine. But I've got to get that canopy top fixed or either taken apart and out of the garden area before I start my spring garden back there. I mean, I can plant in a lot of the totes and buckets around it, but I need to get it out of the way or fixed so I can raise it up and put my plants and stuff underneath it. See, I didn't I didn't know strawberry crowns needed cold weather to sprout. I bought mine in the summer and planted them. I guess that's why they didn't do anything. I mean, those things look dead in the package. How do you get the seeds off? What are you talking about? Getting them off the strawberry? Actually, they say you can like peel the strawberry and just leave the seeds on the peeling and just plant the peeling with the seeds on it. Unless you want to take the time to scrape the little seeds off, which I don't. But I've actually bought seeds for strawberries before. And I've planted them and they never came up. But maybe it's because it was in the summer. Maybe I should have planted them in the wintertime. We don't have Connie, Susie, Randy. Quite a few we don't have in. We don't have Annie. But this time of year, I try to plan where I'm going to plant things in the garden this year. Because here, it's only a matter of a month, about a month before I'll start being able to plant stuff out there. How do you keep the bugs from eating your vegetables outside? Well, usually they stay off of everything except my greens. You plant your strawberries in the fall, T. Sharon? Give them a picnic. Well, I've had them getting some of my melons one time. I think it was a raccoon come in and literally carried one off, and the other one you could see where he bit into it. Yeah, I have to dust some of my plants with 7 Dust or spray something on them to keep a lot of the bugs off of them. But the greens, like they don't usually bother the Swiss chard or the spinach, but they do get on some of my other greens, like the cabbage and the collards. Oh my God, I can't keep the cabbage worms off of them. I don't even know if I'm going to try planting cabbage again this year. But I've had good luck with eggplant, squash, zucchini. Now, this past summer I didn't because it was so hot and dry. Onion bag over cabbage head. Minced garlic, tablespoon or red pepper flakes, dish soap to a gallon of water. Huh. I'll have to try that, Sharon. Well, have a good day, Loretta. Glad you could stop by. Yeah, but some of the bugs that get on my leaves, it's like right after it rains, I guess the rain hits the dirt and it splatters a little bit of dirt or something up on the leaf. And then you end up with these little black dots. And when they hatch out, it's cabbage worms. That's what I have the most trouble with. And I've put net over them, Kevin. I've put that tool over them where no bug could fly in there, and it still gets on there. So I don't know. Can't a moth or anything get through that tool. It's even smaller weave than the onion bags are. Rosemary helps keep away a lot of bugs. I didn't know that. I know marigolds do, and hot peppers, if you plant hot pepper plants around your garden, that helps too. Well, I've got 2 bird feeders out there. I feed the birds all the time. So I know I've got birds in my yard. Oh, wow. I haven't tried that. Sliced onion on the dirt will keep cabbage worms away. Ah, definitely have to try that. And I'm definitely going to have to get some more dirt to my totes and pots this year. Mulch or compost is the best. Beer and mayo, Cap. Huh. I end up with a bunch of drunk slugs, huh? Hi, Paul's in the garden. How are you doing today? One thing about it, I'll have some happy slugs. They'll be happy while they're dying. Feed them beer. Yeah, there's a bunch of work I need to be out there doing. I'm not motivated to do it. I just rather just lay down and take a nap. I've got to get motivated though. Because I've got a whole list of things waiting to be done outside. You know, I got that cement so I can go ahead and finish my rocks around my bird bath platform if I can ever decide how I want to do it. I got all my planting to do, but I got to do all my weed eating and getting the grass out of all my flower beds first. Yeah, there's a lot of moss and worms. Certain moths create worms in the garden, yeah. But all my cabbages and my collards, it was like the eggs were in the dirt, and when it rained, it splattered them up on the underside of the leaves, even though I had every one of those plants covered with tulle. And that weave is small enough, there's no bugs crawling in there. There's no worms going to get in there. So it was like it come up out of the dirt, not something that came in through the air. Yeah, I got to put compost to all my all my totes, my pots, everything. My buckets. That's why I was working so hard building that compost. I got my compost pile full. I've got my compost bin full. Now it just needs to warm up enough to where it's going to help break everything down to where I can use the compost. I don't usually get spotting on my tomato leaves, and I only usually get maybe 1 or 2 tomato worms a season. But it's the ones that get on my cabbage and collards that are the worst. And I've done everything I know to do to keep them off. I've dusted the leaves. I've sprayed the leaves. Nothing seems to work. My leaves still end up looking like lace. There's holes eaten all in it. Well, I sometimes just kind of rotate what I plant there. Well, the problem with that is if I empty all my pots, then I don't have anything to fill them back up with. Because it's nothing but rocks and dirt around here. You can't hardly dig anywhere. And I don't have enough compost in my bin and my pile out there to refill all my pots and totes. So I have to reuse my soil. I usually put more compost and stuff on the top. Try to work it in, and then maybe put potting mix on the very top every year. But I've got to reuse my soil because I don't have anything to refill the totes with. Whew. Sells ladybugs and praying mantis. Yeah, I know ladybugs. I've seen quite a few ladybugs around my garden. And I've maybe seen one or two praying mantis over the years. Miracle Grow potting mix is good. Yeah, I'll have to try it. Change my potting soil brand and but see, it don't bother any of the other plants. It's just mostly the cabbage and the collards. We'll start my yawning again. I don't know what it is with this weather. It's just got me zonked out. That's what I usually do, Kathy. I turn up all the soil and I put new compost in and I add more soil or dirt if I have it to add in, and then kind of mix it all up before I plant anything in there. There's Susan. Hello, Susan. Kathy Phillips. Yeah, I buy the cheaper plants too if I can afford to get them. Like a lot of times I'll go ahead and buy a couple of tomato plants, the big slicing tomatoes. I'll buy whatever they've got available that I can afford to buy. But I try to start most things from seed because that's so much cheaper. Like all my squash, peppers, stuff like that, I always try to start from seed. Oh, I know that. I've done that all the time. Break off a tomato plant and reroot it and start another plant from it. But you got to have that one live plant first. And I think the Cole's got all my tomato plants. Oh, wow. Your neighbor's heater's broken and it can't be fixed till Monday? This cold weather, there's no time for your heater to break down. Connie said her furnace was not working. As cold as it is where she's at, she has no heat. So she sent her son over to some family members, and she said her husband, all he did was fuss, went to work, come home fussing because the heater at work didn't work either. But she said she thought it might be the switch, and she's got somebody that's supposed to come over and check to see if it's the switch. If it is, they might could fix it. Ooh, that might be why Connie's not online with us. I don't know if she was working today. Yeah, I'm hoping that Connie got hers fixed, but I don't know if the guys even come over yet to look at it. She said, you think Bobby would go down there and look at it and fix it? All he wants to do is fuss about it. Yeah, no, I try to buy tomato plants that has a lot of blooms, or sometimes even have a little bitty showing of a green tomato starting that I buy. And I try to find a pot that has two plants to one pot. Sometimes you can find those. So I feel like I'm getting my money's worth if I pay for a plant and I get two in the pot. Whew. Linda, no matter what we do, pests are going to, yeah, they're going to be pests. And there's Jane. Hello, Jane. Oh, Tanya, your husband is a HVAC tech. That's good. I've been like this all day, Gladys. Not just now. I'm not yawning just now because I'm live. I've been this way all day. That's the reason I tell you this kind of damp, bleary, rainy type weather, I can't get motivated. And I got plenty of sleep last night. I went to bed early, slept late. I shouldn't be sleepy at all, but hey, what can I say, you know? Kevin's in Long Island. He wouldn't do me no good in Texas. That would be a little bit of a trip service call. I don't think I could afford the service call. Yeah, I buy Better Boys and a lot of the different ones each year. I've got some seed of the bigger tomatoes. I'm going to try those again this year. And I found a tomato at the store I really liked last year, and I actually planted some of the seeds from it, and it made a plant. And it started producing green tomatoes, but then it got so dry and hot that the plant died because I couldn't keep it watered enough. Yeah, I heard one of the other YouTubers said that she didn't think she'd even go to somebody's channel and watch a live if the person that had that channel sat there and yawned off and on throughout the whole live. Well, you know, hey, I can't help it if I yawn. I'm a human. I'm not a robot. So, just video it. Linda, make coffee. Yeah, I need a cup of coffee. But it shouldn't be anything to them whether I yawn on my live or not. What's it to them? That's one of them persons that was trying to destroy my channel. She's still running her mouth about me. One of these days her mouth is going to freeze up. It's just the weather. It's rainy, dreary. The sun's been trying to come out this afternoon, but just barely. And, the sun's come out just about time for everything to start fading out again. So it's just the time of year, the way the weather's been, the whole thing. So can't quit loser. She can't quit loser. Yeah, I know. She keeps running her mouth. At least she hasn't mentioned my name again. I guess she realizes she can be sued for doing that. And I wouldn't have mentioned it, but but I cough during my lives, I yawn during my lives, but I'm a real live person. I'm not a robot. I don't claim to be perfect. Yeah, I know, Tanya. And I think the devil's going to win out if it keeps on. They're going to destroy themselves. I know I'll do what I want with my channel. If I want to yawn on my live, I'll yawn. If I want to cough, I'm going to cough. I guess she thinks she's perfect. She has no flaws. Then they even got to talking about the fact that little buddy slept on the foot of my bed one night because it was freezing cold outside. Oh, she says, my animals don't sleep on my bed. And one of the viewers questions her in chat. Oh, well, so-and-so sleeps on my bed sometimes. Well, that's an animal. So you see, they need to stop running their mouth about other people, trying to hurt other people when they're going to end up hurting themselves. T. Sharon says, don't fart. Oh my God. Well, Sharon, if I got to do it, I got to do it. Nature wins out sometimes. But I'll try not to. Yeah, she was trying to cut me down because I mentioned the fact that little buddy slept on the foot of my bed one night because it was really freezing cold outside. And the poor cat, it was too cold for him to stay outside. And then they said, well, her dog was not a stray cat. Well, little buddy's not a stray cat either. So she needs to watch her mouth. And I'm sure one or two of you may know who I'm talking about because I think one or two of you probably watch her channel too sometimes. Kevin says, trunk monkey clobbered her on, I can't see what was behind the heart. Gotta wait till it rolls up. I don't know who Trunk Monkey is. But you know, it does make me feel bad to know that I've got fellow YouTubers out there that don't really even know me, that I befriended or tried to befriend, thought I was friends with, turn around and just stab me in the back the way they're doing. When I don't deserve it. I've never done anything to or against any of them. But they're doing it to get views. They think it gives them content to their video. It draws attraction to their live or their video, so they'll get views off of it. Somebody post something so the chat will scroll up. I can't see what's on. Trunk Monkey clobbered her on video. I I don't know who Trunk Monkey is. TikTok Monkey comes out of the trunk with button clobbers, a traffic Karen mean person. Oh, really? I haven't heard of that, Kevin. Yeah, I know. Completely ignore them. That's what I try to do. I try to ignore them and go about my own videos. Next thing you know, she'll be making fun or talking against something that I do in a cooking video or one of my gardening videos or whatever. I don't think she'd have even a halfway decent videos half the time if she didn't have other people doing them for her. And I shouldn't have said that, but I did. But let her do what she wants to. I'm lost on who it is. Well, like I said, I'm not saying names. I shouldn't even have mentioned it. Devil made me do it. Yeah, Linda, breathe. Oxygen. And Jane says, we have a warm-up coming in the 50s. Can't wait till all the mud from snow melts. I know. I love to see the snow, but it can make a mess if you got a lot of it. When I lived in New York as a child, you never saw the mess that was left from the snow because you always walked on sidewalks, you know. Everything was concrete. But when you live in the South or here in Texas, out in the country the way I do, you notice the mess it can make. Do a po-po on the table. I don't know what that is. Yeah, but start thinking about what you're going to be planting this spring. Get everything ready. Start getting your garden ready. That's what I've been trying to do, but the weather's not cooperating. Weather's not cooperating. He's out. He went outside. I mean, it's a warmer day today. It's in the 50s, and it's not raining. I mean, it might have sprinkled through the night, but it has not been raining this morning, even though it looked dark and gloomy most of the day. So he's been outside all day, except for the times he comes in to eat. Sounds good, Jane. Got a seed ordered today. Yeah, I'd love to be able to start all my seeds maybe in the greenhouse or something and get my plants up to some kind of good size before I put them out in the pots and the totes, in March. But I don't know if they'll survive in there. I started seeds in it last year, but a lot of the seeds needed to come out and planted before I was able to take them out and plant them because we still had a little bit of cold weather to come. We still had a chance of frost. So they didn't do as well leaving them in the greenhouse. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it this year. I got to get to thinking about it because, you need to get your seeds started quite a few weeks before you need to plant outside. I tried starting some tomato plants in the house one time, and they germinated. The plants come up, but then they got long and stringy because they weren't getting enough sun. So I said, well, that's not going to work. Yeah, I've done that before too, Kevin. Started my seed on a paper towel, let it sprout, and then plant the sprout. I've done that with flower seeds too. I know I can't afford to heat a greenhouse. I'm starting my seeds early. I'm over this Michigan weather. Well, I can start my seeds outside like the second week in March, and they'll be fine. Even if we have a light freeze after I plant them, usually the freeze will come before they germinate and start to sprout, so it doesn't hurt the seed. And then by the time the seed sprouts and comes up, we don't have any more freezes, so they usually are fine. But by the time I plant in the second week of March, they've already got tomato plants and a lot of garden plants for sale in the nursery at Walmart out here. Even though you don't want to sometimes put them in the ground unless you got some way of covering them up. Because believe it or not, I planted my garden one year, second week of March. I bought a couple of tomato plants and a couple of pepper plants, planted them in the garden, and then not more than 3 or 4 days after I planted them, we got a warning that we were going to get snow that night. So I said, oh my God, I've just planted my garden. Well, like I said, I didn't worry about the seeds in the ground because I knew they'd be fine. But I took flower pots that were big enough to cover the tomato plants and the pepper plants. And while I went around to every one of my plants, turned the pot upside down, covered the tomato plant with it, and then put a rock on top to keep the wind from blowing it over. And it snowed that night. Got up the next morning and there was an inch or two of snow on the ground. I went out there and lifted one of those pots off the tomato. That tomato plant was fine. So I covered it back up. And then the snow melted. We weren't getting another freeze, so I uncovered them all, and they were fine. But it was just that one freeze that one night after I planted my garden. Now, if it had been several nights of freezing weather, they might not have survived. But that one night they did. But now I've got so much Bermuda grass in my garden area, I can't plant in the garden spot. Not in the ground anymore, so I have to use the totes and the pots. And I said if I have to, I can cover them up after I plant them, in March. As many freezing cold nights as we've had, I don't think it would do good to cover anything up out in the yard. I started my seeds early. I'm over this Michigan weather. Where do you start your seeds at, Paws? Indoors, outdoors, how, if you're in Michigan? Because I know Michigan, it's pretty cold weather there. Because that's just the kind of area that I'm in. This whole area, all the way down to Glen Rose and everywhere, it used to be dinosaur country. So it's nothing but rocks. It's more rocks than it is dirt. Rocks, boulders, mountains of rocks. Like I said, I live on top of a mountain, a rock mountain. I'm the highest point in the whole county. Yeah, inside, you got them in a greenhouse, and you probably have a fairly well heated greenhouse to be able to start your plants indoors. Yeah, you start them inside and then in the greenhouse, and then they go out in the yard, yeah. I might try a few more seeds in the greenhouse this year. It's not covered with a cover, so, and they do need all the sun they can get. And if it gets too hot in there during the day, I can always open the door. Well, like I said, I started a lot of my tomato plants in the greenhouse last year. Yeah, it was too hot and dry on my rose bushes. And since we were under water restrictions, I couldn't use the water hose to water them. And I could only water 1 day a week with buckets. And even though I had compost tea that I could water with the garden hose one day of the week and then compost tea the other, even those 2 days was not enough to keep them alive. The ground was too dry. So the water that you put to the plant or the rose bush did not stay there. It evaporated real quick. And since the ground was so dry, it just soaked it up. It was gone. Yeah, the rocks heat up too. Yeah, and all those rose bushes I rooted. I had such good luck with rooting that one year. And then I got them all planted last year, and they were doing so well. And they did well over the winter. They stayed alive. And then that last summer hit. It was so hot and dry all summer. They just died literally from the lack of water is what it was. They didn't have deep enough roots to be able to go down deep enough to find their own water. Because my other rose bushes that are several years old, they've got roots to China. They survived. But those were new cuttings, new plants, so. Yeah, that's the reason I've got my greenhouse in the spot that it's in, is because the house and the trees on this side of the yard block the strong wind from that greenhouse. Whereas on this side of the yard where the canopy was, there's nothing to block that wind that blows across the yard. And it just took that canopy out. I mean, it just moved those boulders it was fastened to, moved everything. And it cracked 2 of my totes that it fell on. I can still use them though. I taped the top of them up. I can still use them this summer, but yeah, at this point, I don't know if I'm going to try to fix the canopy top or just dismantle it and take it down. It'd be neat to be able to use it and, like somebody had mentioned, plant my cucumbers and stuff like that and let the vines grow up the the post and everything to kind of act as a trellis. But we do have tornadoes in this area, so it could have been a small, really small tornado going through, or it could have been just a strong gust of wind that hit it. I wouldn't have thought with the shade cloth on it that it would have got enough traction against that cloth to be able to pick that whole top up. But something sure as heck moved it. I didn't move it. I went out there and looked, and I said, well, I know the wire cables didn't break that were fastened to the boulders that were secured to the corner post to anchor it down. No, the wires were fine. They didn't break. It dragged the boulders 6 or 7, 8 feet from where they were to the back. I said, man, that had to be some strong wind that did that. Well, you can replace your cover so you can get another door, probably for maybe $40, something like that. I don't know what size greenhouse you had. I know it's not a whole lot that replaced the one I've got. And it's just the plastic greenhouse. It's just slip the plastic cover right over it. Yeah, and it had all my Christmas lights still on it and everything. I was out there. First thing I had to do was take all the Christmas lights off of it. Then I had to take the shade cloth off. Then I had to take the lead wires off. And then I had to try to move it back up to where it was, straighten it out. Because one of the posts, the corner post, it bent it. So I don't know how strong that one will be to put it back up. I may have to put another post up along beside it, fasten it to it to give it support to be able to use it again. I don't know. Yeah, see, I tried to keep my plants in my greenhouse year before last, and everything I had in that greenhouse died except one tree collard. One tree collard is the only thing that survived. My aloe vera froze and died. So I brought my aloe vera in the house this year. I didn't put anything in the greenhouse to survive over the winter. The only thing that's in that greenhouse is those few rose cuttings that I did, that I put in a tote and put in there. But I think I'm going to have to replace all the cuttings in there because those cuttings weren't very good. And I really don't know if any of them even tried to root. The stems have all turned dark. So I'm not sure. What is Dusty Miller? I don't know. I've never heard of a Dusty Miller. I don't know what kind of plant that is. I can look it up. I'm curious to know what it is. that's like one of the... There's a Dusty Miller, y'all. I don't know. I get the light on it just right. The leaves look almost white because they've got like a white dusty look to it. I guess that's where it got its name, Dusty. Yeah, it doesn't come up good. You can get 5,000 of those seeds for $6.49 at Amazon. It almost looks like a fake plant. It doesn't look real. Because, I mean, it's all white. And then it's got some flowers in front of it. But that might be a little bit better right there. That's a Dusty Miller, y'all. I guess you can see it. The leaves of it are white, and it looks kind of dusty. But it doesn't look real, you know, the white look of it. It really doesn't look real. Ooh. Now you can get a live plant from Amazon, but it's $16.99. Seeds are pretty cheap though. Well, it looks like there's several different ones of them. That's a Dusty Miller too. It's not white like the other one was, but it's kind of dusty looking. Looks identical to the other one, only this one is not white. I guess maybe it turns white. These are just the plants, the little plants, the baby plants. So I guess the older they get, the whiter they turn. That's interesting. Wow, $48, and it says there's only 2 left in stock of the white. Color silver yellow. Boy, they're pretty popular, I guess. Pretty popular. Yeah, I think I've seen wreaths made out of it, but I didn't know what the plant was. I mean, it really doesn't look real, you know, it being white looking like that. It looks like it's almost plastic, but it's a real plant. I want to get some geraniums started. I had some one time, but they've disappeared. I need to get some more started. Yeah, you learn something new every day. Sharon says, LOL, like my hair. Begonias. My mom used to plant begonias and creeping phlox, all kind of, and marigolds. zinnias. She planted a lot of stuff in the summertime. Susan said she has some Dusty Millers. She's having a bad problem with her computer, but she's still listening. I like any of the flowers. If I can get them to live here. They got to be drought hardy to survive in Texas here where I'm at. And T. Sharon is still listening and she's cooking dinner. What's for dinner, Sharon? Nebraska. Flatlander, Nebraska. Have no idea what part of Nebraska Flatlander's in. But I know where Nebraska's at. It's a far piece from here. Begonias are? I might have to get me some begonias in. Huntley, Nebraska. Tacos with my canned salsa, beans, and rice. Sounds good. Flat farm ground everywhere. That's nice. That's the way it is back where I'm from in North Carolina. Everything is flat. You don't have hills you're climbing up and down. Everything is flat. And usually the ground stays pretty damp or damp enough that you don't generally have to worry about watering anything. I know my mom's rose bush and her rose bushes and I think it's hibiscus. The big, I call them snowball plants, the one that has the big round balls of flowers on them. I always called it a snowball plant. Those things grow like crazy back there. My mom always had a bunch of them around the house. And I thought they were beautiful. I can't get them to live here. I had one in a big half-gallon pot one year, but it died out in the fall. And it didn't come back up the next year. Hydrangeas, that's what it is. Hydrangeas. Yeah, I love hydrangeas. I wish I could get them to live here in my yard. I'd have them planted everywhere. But so far I have the best luck with knockout roses. That's, you know. And I got that one yellow rose. It's been hanging on every year, barely. I need to put fertilizer to it or some good strong compost tea is what I need. And it loves bananas. I took banana peels and put them in the blender one time and just pulverized them, made a slush out of it. Poured it on that rose bush and kept watering it later. And oh my God, it made the biggest difference in that rose bush. You can't believe it just started growing started blooming like crazy, so it needed potassium. It needed that banana peel. There is one called snowball bush. Well, my mom always had the blue ones, but I still called it a snowball bush. What color is the flower on the snowball bush? Does it look anything like the hydrangeas? Or is it in that family? Kevin says fried fish, salad, tomatoes, lettuce, Caesar dressing, boiled egg, chopped diced cucumber, feta cheese, crushed nuts, salsa croutons, salad croutons. I'm going to come eat dinner with Kevin. Now, that's my kind of dinner right there. I love fried fish with anything that goes with it. I mean, I just love the fish. Tonight's dinner. Yeah, let's all go to dinner at Kevin's house tonight. Yeah, what's your address, Kevin? We're going to charter a car and come see you. Or maybe a bus. We'll be there by dinner time. Darn good welcome. North Pole 191. Jane says, I made fish and chips Friday night. Love it. Yeah, I bet. I haven't made fish and chips in a long time. I need to go fishing is what I need to do. I was thinking about it the other day. The sun was shining. It was a beautiful day, but it was so cold. And I said I would have went fishing that day if it hadn't been freezing cold outside. Well, you know, I bought Mom pink hydrangea one year. She was in the hospital. She got home, and instead of sending her a bouquet of flowers, I knew she loved hydrangeas because she always planted them around the house, up to the house, and they were all blue. So I called the florist in North Carolina that I always ordered from, and she told me she had a beautiful pink hydrangea in a pot. And I said, well, that's what I want you to take to her. I said, I want that pink hydrangea. And it lived. My mom planted it, but you know, the next year when it come up, it came back blue. So I guess that's why there was too much aluminum sulfate, because it caused it to go blue. It needed more lime to turn pink. I didn't know that. I knew it was something in the water, but I wasn't sure exactly what that made the difference between the pink and the blue. And I wonder what the difference would be in the white one, because, you know, some people have white hydrangeas. Shelley said hers are pinkish color. I have Granbury Lake. It's a man-made 35-mile long lake. And yes, sir, we eat the fish out of Granbury Lake. Everybody does. And they say there's catfish in that lake as big as a Volkswagen. I don't think I want to catch one of them. How would you even get it up to the shore? And what would you do with it? You could make a world record fish fry with something that big. We have a fish walleye frying butter, and so good. Yeah, I bet. I like crappie. I love brim. I love shad. I love, the fish name just went out. A bass. I love catfish. You name it. I love my fish, and I'll eat any of them. If I catch them, I'm going to, fillet them up if they're big enough, and I'm going to fry them. Oh, there's Shatika. Hello, Shatika. Welcome. Yeah, I wish it was my garden in that picture. 6 weeks till crappie season. I've never caught any. I've seen other people catch a few of them, but I haven't. I don't catch any. I usually just fish for catfish. I'd rather have my catfish. Says mine stay pink. I add the fertilizer, but it must need a gallon. Yeah. Well, what are you going to do with a 200-pound catfish? You could have a town fish fry with it. Gladys says, I'm hungry now, Kevin. Yeah, usually the crappie that I've seen them catch have been about the size of my hand. You know, not very big, but I'm sure they're still good eating, but I just don't usually catch crappie, or whatever they call them. Village eats tonight. Yeah, well, the 200-pound catfish, yeah, the whole village will eat tonight. If somebody cleans him, because I'm not. Well, I guess they wasn't that big. You just cut the fillets off of him and cut the skin off. You don't have to pull it off. So that wouldn't be too difficult. That'd be a lot of meat. That'd be a lot of catfish. The last couple that I caught were pretty good sized catfish. And I need to go fishing and catch me some more. I love fishing, but I don't want to fish when it's real windy, and I don't want to fish when it's freezing cold out there either. My allergies drive me crazy if it's too windy because it keeps all that dust blowing in my face. And I'm not into ice fishing at all. You saw albino catfish? Wow. I bet that was interesting. I've never seen an albino catfish before. We have channel cats and we have the blue cats here. I have limelight and firelight and can't remember the multicolor one I just planted. Huh. You're talking about the now the names just went out of my mind. Hydrangeas, because I know I've seen some that have kind of green looking or lime color. I don't know about the firelight. I don't know what color that is. Peonic River. I had 2 small mouth bass, kind of dry fish. I don't know, the bass that I caught weren't. They were pretty good sized bass, and they had a lot of fat on the inside of the skin of it, so it wasn't dry at all. I don't know. I've not seen him again because I don't think I've been back out there since that day. I got busy doing other stuff, and then the weather got bad, and I haven't been back out there. Don't have any idea what happened to that gentleman. I guess he's still around. Oh, you thought he was might ask me out? Well, that was the first time I'd ever met him, so I guess he didn't want to ask me out then if that was what was on his mind. Linda, yeah, if that's what you say. I don't know. I have no idea, Gladys. I have no idea. Have no idea. I'm observant. Okay, Linda, me and Shelly know different. LOL. I don't know what you know different. You know something I don't know. Yeah, he liked to talk. That's for sure. I just kind of glanced at my calendar up on the wall behind me. That's the calendar that April sent from Hawaii. And I just happened to think, well, April's not in here. I wonder what April's doing today. Grew my first musk melon. Squirrel stole it and had a good meal. Oh, that was like my yard. I think it was a raccoon or something stole one of mine one year. He stole the first one, and then he bit a big hunk out of the second one. Must be a good melon for the squirrel to steal it. Had about 8 sugar babies. I had a couple of little watermelon last year, but they never got to maturity, so they never got to ripen. It was just too hot and dry. You think they'd have to lift the water restrictions on us sooner or later. After me calling and fussing at them, they finally changed the restriction to where you can use a handheld watering hose to water your plants on your one day. It was probably squirrels or raccoons or some animal got them. I've seen signs in my yard of a raccoon being around here. because you could see every place where he went to the bathroom. I first thought it was a dog, and I said, no, that looks weird to be a dog dropping, and it wasn't. It's from a raccoon. So he's probably the one that's been stealing what few melons I've had growing out there that disappeared. And if he'll steal a cantaloupe or honeydew, you know good and well he's going to steal a little watermelon if he can't carry it and take it off. Or that's what the tow truck driver said when he come over to start my car that day. We got to talking about, in fact, I told him, I said, watch out, you're going to step in a pile behind your foot there. And he backed up and looked at it, and he said, that's not from a dog. He said, that's a raccoon. Because you can look close, and it's all berries and stuff like that he ate. So it was a raccoon. It was not a dog. You had 2 sugar gliders as pets. I don't know what that is if it's a pet. It's gone. You waited too long, Jane. Yeah, I don't have the problem with deer coming up in my yard because the neighborhood we're in, we just don't have deer coming around. But we've got possums, raccoons, skunks, armadillo, possum, prairie dogs. Yeah, I know. You get out there and you baby something and you're waiting for it to get ripe, and then the very minute it turns ripe, you go out there to get it and it's gone. Some of your animal friends come and help themselves to it. Makes you want to put a fence up around everything. That's one good thing about planting in 18-gallon totes and 5-gallon buckets. Sometimes they don't reach to get stuff. Now, a watermelon vine, they would unless you had that fixed so it growed up on a trellis. But if your watermelon was very big, you couldn't grow it on a trellis. If it was a little tiny sugar babies, you might. But some of the animals can climb up on anything. Yeah, little thieves. They just think we plant a smorgasbord out there for them. I told my brother when he still lived in North Carolina, he had a whole row of every kind of blueberry bush you could think of all down one side of his yard. And his yard was 2 acres. So, you know, it was a pretty long row of blueberries. Those things would produce tons of blueberries every year. But the deer come up in there and they would eat part of them. I mean, you'd have to go out there and make sure you picked a bunch almost every day or the deer got them. And then when he planted his garden in the backyard, things would grow, put out tomatoes, cucumbers, you name it. He said, I'd have tons of tomatoes in my garden. And I'm waiting for them to ripen up, go back there to pick tomatoes when I think they're about right. And the minute they start turning a little bit pink or red, they disappear. And he said, the deer come up in my garden and just have a buffet. I said, well, they think you're planting all of that for them. I said, the only way to prevent that with deer is to put a fence around your yard and put like a chicken net fence over the top. So they can't jump into it. And then they probably jump, land on the fence, and get stuck. But at least you'd catch you a deer, right? Because my mom had my brothers put a fence up around her garden because the deer kept getting in it. Didn't keep them out. They jumped the fence. So you got to put them in something that you can put a top over it. I know I can't afford that either, Shelley. I can protect anything that doesn't vine out. If it vines out, then it pretty much has to fend for itself, because, if your vine is growing everywhere, you can't cover it. Only thing you could do is put a fenced-in yard around you with a 10-foot high fence, and then put a top over the fence with some kind of fencing, like chicken wire or something else, to keep things from climbing the fence and getting in through the top. I wish I had my backyard fenced in with a privacy fence or something like that. I'd love it. Maybe eventually I can. I don't know. I've never been able to afford it up till now, so I doubt it. It costs so much. It probably costs $4,000 or $5,000 just to put a privacy fence up around my backyard. Yeah, they don't bother my okra. They pretty well leave my okra alone. They don't bother the eggplant. They don't usually bother the peppers. Once in a while, I might have a missing tomato, but usually they don't bother the tomatoes either, but they will the melons, especially if they get close to being ripe. They'll bother them. They'll take every one of them. You have families of coons that eat, yeah. Those raccoons will steal everything in your garden. Two wild duck feed in our backyard just was seen 2 days ago. I haven't had the wild ducks come in my yard yet. I'm surprised. They're down at the lake area. They come up there all the time looking for food, but I haven't seen them up here. I guess there's not enough food outside around for them to bother with yet. I haven't done anything to them yet, Shelley. I've got to get about another 4 cinder blocks, and I need another 2 8-foot posts, because I want to fix the platform for the green totes like I did the pink ones that I did, and put them there in that canopy area, where I had the canopy top up. I want to put them in that area somewhere. I was thinking about a raised bed, but I don't know. My 6 pots were cheaper than a raised bed would be, because lumber is so expensive. I'd have to buy at least 2 posts, or get the concrete corner things that you put the wood in. And then I was thinking about, instead of doing a wood raised bed, maybe I've seen people take galvanized steel panels and do the sides and the ends of their flower bed, and put posts in the corner, the 4x4-inch fence posts. I could probably get 2 of those, and they'd be 4 foot tall. That would be plenty tall enough for a raised bed. And attach them to the corner post. And then I'd have to get maybe another post to put halfway to secure the center of the long end. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I don't know if the raised bed would work as good or not as good as my totes. So, because there's no way I can fix a water compartment in the bottom of a raised bed. But it is good if the roots could go into the ground. So there's pros and cons to it. I don't know. And then if I got that darn Bermuda grass in the raised bed, I'd go crazy because I'd have to take it all apart and dig it all out and start over. We have to try it. Yeah, and then I've got to have all that dirt and soil to put in a raised bed, which I don't have. I mean, I could work on filling it up. And then the totes and buckets are easier to move if you needed to move them for some reason. A lot easier to empty, too, if you want to empty them for any reason. So, I don't know. I thought I might have one back there in the backyard and just give it a try and see how it works. But I got to come up with the money to do that. I got to wait till after I file my taxes because, you know, I got to see that I have enough money to pay my Medicare on my taxes this year. Because YouTube doesn't take out for Medicare. So if you file a tax return, you're going to have to pay the Medicare on it, whatever you made. And I don't know how much that will be. It's probably not going to be no huge amount, but it'll be something, you know. I save my scraps all the time, Kevin. I've got a big compost pile up out there already full. I've got 2 compost bins that are full. And the compost I'm getting now, I'm just going to be starting to put in my totes and stuff. Or the scraps, I meant. Yeah, if it's a food item, it does not get thrown away in this house. It goes in the compost bin. Yep, I'm hoping mine will break down by spring and give me some good compost to put to my totes and my pots for the growing season. Yeah, I've seen all kind of raised beds that they've done. Some of them are just completely made out of wood, but you know, they'll eventually rot. Whereas if you build one out of galvanized panels, they're not going to rot. I mean, after 50 years, it may rust a little bit, but you don't have to worry about the wood rotting. But even the galvanized panels have gotten pretty expensive now. I haven't bought any lately. Well, I haven't bought any at all since I redid my shed out back. That one silver shed that I keep all my garden stuff in. It's covered with galvanized panels, and I did that myself. Yeah, well, I've got one of those composting buckets. It's stainless steel, and it's in the shed. I usually put my scraps in a bowl, and then after I get my kitchen cleaned up, I'll take the bowl of scrap and go dump it in the compost pile and come back in and wash my bowl because I didn't really like it all sitting on the counter. But yeah, I've got a nice stainless steel compost bucket out there in the shed with a lid. I could bring that back in the house anytime and use it. I have a tendency, though, to leave it sitting there too long. Yeah, well, sometimes like today when I had banana peels and stuff like that, I just dumped it in my compost tea buckets. And it breaks down and it fertilizes your plants when you water them with the compost tea. And plants love banana peels in there. Your daughter saved her scraps for you. Well, that's good. The more scraps you get, the more fertilizer and food you'll have for your plants. Because they love that compost. You have enough compost, you don't have to use fertilizer. Compost is all you need. And up till this year, I really didn't have a whole lot of compost. I mean, I didn't have a lot of table scraps. But I've been doing so many cooking videos and stuff that I've had quite a bit of table scraps. So they've been going in the compost piles every dime. Jesse's gone and I'm here now. Been listening. No, gardening is not always pretty and clean. I mean, you get out there digging, planting stuff, you're going to get dirty. I even put you put your paper towels, any of that, paper bags, pieces of cardboard that doesn't have all the ink and stickers on it. Cardboard is good. I put all that stuff. If y'all watch any of my composting videos, you'll see that I put cardboard, but you got to take the tape and stuff off of it. You don't want to put the tape and those stickers and stuff with glue on it in your compost. Take all that stuff off of it. And then tear up your boxes and throw that cardboard down in your compost pile. Right along with newspaper, because the ink is made on newspapers that's not harmful to you. So you can put newspapers in compost piles. Any of my paper scraps from the house, like stuff I get in the mail that doesn't have a lot of glue or stuff like that on it, I put in the compost. Some things you compost and some things you can't. That's part of the health benefits. Yep, that's part of it. Oh, okay, Shelley. Well, good deal. Your plants love all that broken down cardboard and paper. Toilet rolls. In my bathroom right now, I've been lazy. I have not emptied my trash can in my bathroom. It's full to the top, and it's got toilet paper rolls, the empty ones, just the cardboard rolls, a few Kleenexes and stuff like that, that I don't put in not the nasty ones that you have to put in the toilet, but the other, like tissues that I might blow my nose in, or tissues that I'll use to clean my face, my skin with. It all goes in that little trash can right along with the little cardboard rolls, for the toilet tissue, and it goes in my compost. Let me let little buddy in. He's scratching at the door. Come on. He had to come in and get him something else to eat. This pad keeps shutting off. I'm going to throw it. Oh no. Alfalfa pallets in there. Little Goldie was here, what, yesterday or day before, looking for him. He was on one side of the house. She was on the other side. And she didn't know he was over here because he was up in that little swing taking a nap in his seat, his little bed. Great stress relief, too. Yeah, I mean, I feel so much better frame of mind, actually, since I've been gardening again. Because you get in the garden and you start concentrate on your garden and growing stuff and, fixing your totes and your buckets and all that stuff, and you forget everything else. You're not out there worrying and stressed out. That all goes away. I know I accidentally came across a video a couple of years ago on this guy, how he transformed his whole backyard. Now, he had a small backyard, and it was fenced in. And he didn't have as much, his backyard was not as big as mine. But you know what? He transformed that backyard to a wonderland. It was a paradise. And he said he got involved with it at a suggestion of one of his friends. He had been going through AA because he was an alcoholic. And when he quit drinking and he wasn't working anymore, he said he didn't have anything to do and it was stressing him out. And they suggested that he started gardening. He said, well, he didn't have anywhere to garden. And they said, yeah, you do, your backyard. He said, well, it's not big enough to garden in. And they said, yes, it is. So he got to thinking about it. He started gardening in his backyard. One thing led to another. And after a couple of years, he transformed that whole backyard. There was not one spot in that whole yard that was open for grass to grow. He had paths that went through the backyard. He had seating areas that the paths would lead to. And along the paths, he had stuff growing everywhere. Some of it was vegetables. Some of it was just, flower plants. Some of it was little trees. But it was beautiful. And he said that's what saved his life, was his garden, was transforming his backyard the way he did. He said that was life-saving to him. And he suggests anybody that, especially retired people that don't have a lot to do during the day, and just sit there wondering, well, what am I going to do next? They get worried. They might get frustrated and upset with life sometimes, He just told them, get out there and start gardening, plant something, just anything. And it's addictive. Once you start planting, and you see something will come up and produce from it, you keep going. You don't want to stop. Because it's fun. And like everybody says, it's a stress reliever. It's good for you. Gives you exercise, too. Well, I'm glad you do. I've got 19 thumbs up showing on my camera up here. Got 27 people watching. Yeah, it took a lot of getting used to planting out here because where I'm from in North Carolina, it's lowland, swampland. And you can drop a seed and it will grow. Out here, it's a little bit of work to get anything to grow, because of the climate change, and the fact that I've got rocks here. And there's no rocks where I come from in North Carolina. It's all flat land. It's all dirt. There's no rocks. I mean, even if you don't want to plant anything but flowers, plant a tree. Susan says, oops, thanks for the reminder. Here too, my soil is red. I have to have compost. Well, sandy soil is kind of good but you need a mixture. You need a mixture of clay and sand to get the right consistency to plant in. You can't just plant in sand. But you get good drainage with the sand, so if you can add clay soil to it or, some other kind of soil to that sand, you should be able to grow in it. Clay, I've been improving for 35 years. I bet you got a good garden, Jane. I need to fix it. I started with 1 tomato and pepper, now planting about ½ acre. You go, T. Sharon. Well, you plant something and it turns out good and it produces, and well, I'm going to plant this next year and then I'm going to try this too with it and see how it does. I know how it is. My garden grows a little bit every year. It's addictive. Yep, it is, but it's a good addiction. It's a good, safe, healthy addiction to grow a garden. You don't mind being addicted to your garden. Yeah, it's a learning experience. I learned real fast you can't grow here like you do in North Carolina. It's a lot different. Some of the things you can grow here that you can grow there, but you got to do a little differently here to make it grow. Back on into this iPad's going out the window. Oh no, don't throw me out the window, Gladys. Poor Gladys can't keep her iPad on. And here's little buddy, but I don't think I can show him to you. I'm afraid I'm going to turn my camera off if I tilt it down too far. I got it plugged in too, so. Little buddy, want to get up here? Get up here in my lap. He said, your lap's not big enough for me to sit in. Come on. Come on. Come on. He's such a big cat. Come here. He says, but Mama, I just ate. He said, I just ate dinner. My belly's full. He don't like that. His belly's full. I just wanted to show you, to let people see you. I know Gladys wanted to see you. Yeah, I know Gladys wanted to see you. Yeah, he's a big boy. My lap's not big enough for him to lay on, so he don't even try to get up here anymore. he'll stand up and put his paws on my leg, want me to pet him. But he knows it's useless to try to get up in my lap because he's too big a cat. My lap's not big enough. Yep, he's a big boy. He's ready for us to get out in the garden too. He likes gardening with me. He's pretty heavy. I don't know how much he weighs. Never been weighed that I know of. Yep, he is a big boy. Yeah, I think he's ready for the warmer weather, and he's ready to get out in the garden with me and go around the garden like he always did. Got to jump in the shower, go in the haul hail bales with my hubby in the morning. Have a great night. Have a good night too, Jane. Sorry to see you go so early, but if you got to, you got to. Glad you could come in. You have one cat that follows you in the yard, Shelley. And he stays right with me. I mean, he's sitting down by my chair right here now. If he's in the house, he's right close to me. Same way if I'm in the yard, he's right there with me usually. If he hasn't run off and prowling around somewhere. Gladys says, Linda, we have a cat now. My son saved him from the street. Has black and white. Big boy cat. I think Connie mentioned that to me, Gladys. Well, I'm glad to see you got you a new cat. I guess he stays in the house. We're in the apartment. Ooh. Yeah, I think he loves me, or he loves his food. I don't know which. He's like a people person. He knows who to butter up to. Yeah, that's April's calendar she sent me up here behind me. I just happened to glance at that a little while ago, and then I remembered, well, April's not here. But that's okay, because it wasn't scheduled. She didn't know. And knowing April, there's no telling what she's doing today. It's only about lunchtime in Hawaii right now. Yeah, he gets fed food. He'll only eat cat food. The Friskies. I buy the case of 40 cans, and I buy the great big bag. I think it's like 22-pound bag of cat food. And he's almost at the bottom of both right now. So I'm going to have to probably, in a week, maybe not even a week, order him some more canned food at least. He's got enough of the dry food to last a while longer. Yeah, she's on the beach and she fell asleep reading her book. That's where April is. Now, he does love tuna fish. If I open a can of tuna fish, he'll eat tuna fish, and he loves the water from it or the oil. Because sometimes I get tuna fish in oil, sometimes I get it in water. And he loves that poured over his food that's in his plate already. He'll eat every bit of it. He loves it. But I've tried him with fresh catfish, fried catfish. He will not eat it. He'll sniff it and he'll walk off. He does not want any part of fried fish. He will not eat beef cooked. He will not eat chicken. But he will eat the cat food. And you know, there's chicken, there's turkey, there's beef, fish, and all that in all the different cat foods, because I buy him the case of 40 that's assorted. You know, it's got so many cans of beef, so many cans of chicken, so many of turkey, and so many of fish. So he doesn't eat the exact same thing all the time. And he'll eat that. He loves it. You give yours tuna sometimes with their medicine in it. Yeah, they'll eat it because they want that tuna fish. Well, you know, it was funny. I used to have a German Shepherd, and the vet gave us some pills to give the dog. I think we had to give one a day, and he said put it in their food, and the way dogs are, they'll gulp up their food and eat the pill with it. I don't think so. You know what happened with my dog? I'd give him that can of food with that pill stuck down in the center of it. I mean, all the way down in it. You go back out there a little while later, the food's gone, and there's the pill in the plate. Now, how did that dog do that? How did he know that pill was in the center of that dog food? And I don't remember how we finally got that dog to take that pill. But it wasn't in his canned cat dog food, that's for sure. That's what Shelley did last night. But I thought that was the funniest thing. It didn't matter how many times you put that pill inside a whole can. I mean, one of those like 13-ounce cans of cat dog food, and put it down there. He'd eat every bit of that dog food out of that dish. You go back and look, and that pill is right in the dish. He didn't touch that pill. I think we've had to finally open his mouth and drop the pill down his throat and then close his mouth until he swallowed it. I think that's what we had to do. These were like like a gel, a kind of a gel capsule. But it would be laying in that dish every time. He'd eat every drop of that dog food. And that pill would be left in the plate. Yeah, a capsule or something that was powder would have been easy. I mean, I don't know how it would have worked to try to break up one of those gel capsules. He probably wouldn't have eaten any of the dog food. Oh, I have never seen those, Sharon. Treats with holes in it for the pills. I've never seen those. Of course, I haven't looked either, but I didn't even know they had treats with holes in them to put pills in for the dogs or cats. How neat. So there's other dogs that have done that too. Eat all their food and leave the pill. Yeah, you know, I got to looking at my picture on the replay over here, and I got to thinking, you know, I probably should do fix myself up, because that other woman that was talking about me on her chat, she mentioned something about that I should fix myself up before I went live. And you know one thing, I just thought of something funny that I thought the last time I saw one of her lives. I thought to myself, yeah, well, if she'd give herself a hairdo, she wouldn't look so much like a freaking rooster either. Did I say that? Slap my face. I get back on my pills and my dogs and cats. Oh, it don't work great with little dogs? Well, see, usually the big dogs, and this was a 110-pound German Shepherd, and usually you put a can of cat food out there, that whole can is gone in 2 gulps. Sometimes 1 gulp, depending on how hungry he was or she was. So how in the world did she gulp that food down and leave the pill in the plate? I have no idea. She needs to be blocked. Yeah, well, I don't usually talk about what other people look like until they start talking about what I look like, and it's none of their business. She's always saying she's 50-some years old. Like, I don't know if she's claiming she ain't able to do nothing or what the deal is. If I was 50-some years old, I wouldn't be worried about it. I got quite a few years on her. So we'll see what that lady looks like when she's my age. My dogs are so small they can't hardly eat that size treat, let alone a pill in it. Yeah, if you got the little bitty dogs, I know I saw the pictures of yours, Susan. Those are cute little bitty dogs. I mean, they're tiny. I don't imagine it takes a whole lot to feed them. But they are the cutest little things. I think little buddy wants to go back out. No, he don't. Where is he at? Don't know where he went. He probably found a place to curl up and go to sleep. Yeah, that's always been my motto, T. Sharon. If you can't say something good about a person, don't say anything at all. Yeah, I bet there is a lot of love in those little bodies. They probably couldn't even eat that size pill. Imagine if the vet gives you medicine for those little dogs. If it's in pill form, it's a little small pill. Or liquid form. You have small dogs, 4 of them, Gladys? I don't know what kind of dogs Gladys has. Hi, Holiday. How are you? Welcome to our chat. They're all mixed. Your son saved them from the streets. Oh, how cute. Just got home from granddaughter's 6th birthday. That's such a cute age to have a birthday. Yeah, the little mutts are usually the healthiest dogs. How is Holiday these days? Got a cotton candy machine. Oh, I'm telling you, I bet those kids had a good time with cotton candy. That's a fun candy to have. I know when I was like 13, 14 years old, I used to work at a resort area where they had concession stands. And I worked in the concession stand where I made cotton candy, candied apples, and I had the little duck pond where kids would pick up the ducks. And the number would be on the bottom of the duck they picked up. And whatever number that was, it corresponded with a prize up on the wall is what they won. So I'm real familiar with making cotton candy. I had a cotton candy machine in front of me. I made cotton candy off and on all day. So I'm sure they had fun with that. You can make it any color. Make it look like a rainbow if you want to. You're good getting through winter? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's been so rainy and gloomy here the last couple of days. I just have not gotten motivated to do anything. Just been cooped up in the house, doing housework and cooking and doing videos. I mean, that cotton candy is made basically just out of sugar, but it is good. I mean, it's a fun candy. Yeah, stiff as a board in chilly air. Now Gladys wants some cotton candy. Well, good, Holiday. Yeah, I'm trying it. We'll see what happens. Some people have good success with just doing that, just putting the root hormone on them and sticking them in the ground, or putting them in a big pot like I did, 4 into a pot. I had good luck a year before last just rooting them in the greenhouse in little cups. Just about every one that I stuck in there rooted, but I had real good cuttings. This year my cuttings were not that good because the rose bushes were in distress from the long, hot, droughted summer. So I probably need to wait and cut some more healthy cuttings and put them down and see what happens. Probably now, like I cut the ones I did cut, since they were trying to bloom again and everything, I could probably take some more cuttings now and put them in those little cups in the greenhouse, and I'd probably have better luck with rooting them than I did the first ones I put out there. And I probably will end up doing that. Oh, it's dropped to 46 degrees, 54 here. I think it was up to about 59 today. And it's dropped to 54. I don't believe it. I got an even number. I got 24 watching and I got 24 thumbs up. Yay! I don't know if I've ever evened out like that before. I'm going to text Connie. Be right back. Yeah, she's probably not feeling good. She's probably cold too if they didn't get that furnace fixed. I took out my old carpet shampoo or steam cleaner, and I said, well, I can't put it in the trash can. It's going to stick out the top. So that means I can't close the lid on it with the other garbage in there. So I thought about putting it in the trunk of the car and just leaving it there. And then I put it there, and then I decided later, well, no, I'm not going to leave it in the trunk of the car. I took it out and I put it here at the back door on the outside, right beside the trash can. So on trash day, which is Wednesday of next week, I'll put it out with my garbage and maybe they'll pick it up. It still works, but it leaks, and I don't like using it when it leaks. If you had a washer that goes in the bottom of it, it could probably be fixed, but I can't find a washer for it anywhere. I've looked on Hoover websites everywhere, and all of the rug steam cleaners that they have are newer models, and they're made different, so they had different washers and different little fittings, so can't find one to put in it, so I just gave up. I started to give it to Goodwill, and I don't mind doing that, but I said I hate to give it to someone and them use it, and then it leaks so bad that, it just wets the floor, and then they'll be mad at me or mad at the person that left it there. So I said, well, I'm putting it in the garbage. If the garbage guys want it, they can fix it. They can have it. I don't care. But I love the one my son got me for Christmas. It works great. So much better than this big Hoover that leaks. And if I don't want to use it, I don't want to wish it on anyone else, But tomorrow the sun comes out and it's going to be upper 40s. Yeah, it was fairly decently warm today, like high 50s. But it looked gloomy and cloudy most of the day until this afternoon, and then the sun came out for a little while. It rained all day yesterday, so everything is still wet outside. But right now is the best time to go weed eat your garden, pull weeds and grass out of your pots and totes in your garden, your rock gardens where I have them. I have a lot of grass and weeds coming up in my rock gardens that I need to get all that out. And with the ground being a little wet is the best time to pull that stuff up. It pulls out easier. It gets dry, the ground gets hard, and it's hard to get that stuff out. The roots break off. But right now, the roots and everything will be pulled out. So it is the best time to do it. I got a wet, dry shop vacs that come in. Yeah, I can imagine they are. Well, I had just bought a new vacuum cleaner, upright vacuum cleaner, because my other one broke. And my son got me that new Shark vacuum cleaner for Christmas. But I just bought a new one, and I didn't want to get rid of my old one. Or not old one, it was a new one. So I've ended up keeping both. I got 2 vacuum cleaners now. One thing I found, though, I can vacuum my car with the Shark vacuum cleaner. And I can put the wand on it, and I can go up to the ceiling with it and get cobwebs and stuff off the ceiling, where you can't really do that with my upright. I've got the attachments, but it's got that stretch expandable hose, but it doesn't, I don't think it reaches that far. So I guess I'm vacuum cleaner poor right now. I got 2 of them. He said one time I could take it back, and I said, well, I hated to take it back. He wanted me to have it. So I guess I'll use one for some things, and I'll use the other one for other things. So I try to put mulch down every year, Holiday. And I've got to get more wood chips and stuff to use as mulch, because I'm out. I don't have any more. I used that whole load of wood chips that I had. So when I redo my garden this year, I need leaves or something to put in the top of the totes and pots as mulch. And I'll have to use leaves if I don't have wood chips. Either one is good. Anything you put at the top, to keep the moisture in, is a good thing. I use weeds in my compost too. Yeah, I do too, but I've got weeds everywhere. She may not be. She may be working. At least if she's at work, she's where it's warm. She's not home where it's cold. Mostly dandelions. Yeah, I put grass and weeds in my compost tea too. But I try not to put Bermuda grass in there. I don't want Bermuda grass in there, because just as sure as I do, it's going to have seeds. And those seeds will end up in everything, and I'll have more Bermuda grass everywhere. He's fine. He was just here a minute ago. I think he found him a spot to go to sleep. He come in and wanted his dinner. And I picked him up and showed him on camera a little bit ago. But after I put him down, he walked off. I think he's laying down somewhere. I don't know where he went. He's around here. I know. He's in the house somewhere. Yeah, I'm real careful about what grass I put in my compost tea, because I don't want grass seed in there. A lot of times the weeds aren't that bad, but I don't want grass seed in there. Goodness, I got to talking to y'all and I lost track of the time. We've been on here for over 2.5 hours. I get lost in the time because I love chatting with everybody. Is some of yours wildflowers? I don't know if they're called blanket flowers or not. What I did, I bought these like bags that were like this big around in a clump. And it was all full. I bought 3 or 4 bags that big of flower seed, and it was all wildflower seed that I've put in my yard, and it's all mixed. It's every kind of wildflower imaginable that's good for this area that I threw out in the yard. And I know a lot of it never even came up, or it got blew away somewhere else. But a lot of it did. I had blue flowers that grew real close to the ground last year that come up close to the street. And I mowed one day and I mowed them all down and I haven't seen them since. So I'm hoping they come back this year. But they may have blanket flowers in there because I know I looked at it to read all the different kinds of flowers was in it, and it had a long, long list of every kind of wildflower there was that's good for this droughted area here. Blanket flowers. I thought it looked like them. Oh, you saw some in my yard that might have looked like blanket flowers? Like I said, they could have been, but I don't know. I've planted every kind of wildflower imaginable. They probably are, Shelley. But it was a little, like, cloth bag. And it was probably about as much as a grapefruit would hold in each bag. If the grapefruit was hulled out, and you put seeds in it. That's how much was in each little bag. And I had 3 or 4 of bags. And I didn't put them all out at one time. But eventually I ended up putting every one of them out on this side of the yard. So we'll see what of them comes up this year. And I don't remember the kind that mostly comes up. My yard is almost full of one type of a wildflower that comes up every year. And it comes up and it spreads because every flower turns into seeds and it'll drop seeds and more plants will come up the following year. And I don't remember the name of those either. They may be the blanket flower. Those that grew all up against the shed. In fact, they were all over the yard. Those look like little sunflowers. I know, but they're not sunflowers. I don't know what they call them. There's some other name, but it's not a sunflower. But they are pretty little flowers. And I do not want to mow them down when they're blooming. They're too pretty to mow down. I'd love to have the whole yard full of them. Blanket flowers. Well, that's probably what they are then. They look like little sunflowers, but Shelley's saying they're blanket flowers. Is Holly leaving us? I wanted to pop in and say hello. I'm going to get comfy in recliner. I'm tuckered out. Well, you have a good night too, Holiday. I'm getting ready to get off of here because we've been on here for almost going on 3 hours now. I think we've been on here too long. I don't want to wear everybody out. I know you got other things to do. But remember, anybody that needs 18-gallon totes for their garden, Walmart's got them on sale, clearance, the green and red ones for $5 each. They got all the green and red on sale, clearance. But of course, the larger ones cost a little more, but they're still on clearance, just like the 18-gallon ones. But the 18-gallon ones are $5. Start planning what you think you're going to be putting in your garden this year. I'm fighting a weed that gets knee high, and wildflowers do. They turn into burrs. Well, I planted wild baby breath one year, and I think it's beautiful. Baby breath is a pretty flower, but this wild baby's breath, it'll bloom, and when them little bitty white flowers die, they turn into little fuzzy sticker things. They're little fuzzies. They're not really stickers. They don't stick you or anything, but they're little fuzzy things that if you walk by them, they stick to your legs, or they stick to your socks, or they'll stick to your shoestrings. And that drives me crazy. So now I wish I'd have never planted the wild baby breath, because I didn't realize it had those little fuzzies on it. Then they're seeds probably, but they will stick to everything that, brushes by them. And that baby breath will get knee high or higher. It gets tall. And it's really pretty. I mean, it's pretty in an arrangement of roses when you get it from a florist. That's the reason I planted it, but I had no idea that it had those little fuzzy things after the flower died. That's what you got. Yeah, it's baby's breath, and there's no way you can get rid of it. I kept pulling mine out and pulling it out and putting it in the burn pile. And those little fuzzies are seeds, and they get blowed everywhere. You'll never get rid of it. You'll have baby's breath the rest of your life. I'm sorry. And it will spread. It spreads in my rock gardens. I constantly keep it pulled out of the rock gardens. It comes up all in the yard in the grass. I mean, it's pretty, but I just hate those little fuzzies that stick all over you. I mean, they're hard to get off your clothes. You can't just shake them off. You got to brush them off or pick them off. Aggravating little boogers. If you planted any kind of wildflower seed, it probably had them in that package of seed, because I know mine did. I just saw the thing where it said baby's breath, and I said, oh man, that's pretty. That's what the florists put in the bouquet of roses when they deliver them. I didn't know it had little fuzzies. You live and learn. Like I said, every day you live and learn. But I'll always have baby's breath growing in my yard, and in the back, and on the side, and everywhere. I have pulled them for 3 years. I've been pulling them longer than that, but you can't get rid of them. They will forever be there, I promise. I know it's a great deal. $5 for an 18-gallon tote. Oh, you said 5-gallon buckets? They got them on sale? For how much? I didn't see buckets on sale. I just saw the totes. I probably need to get 4 buckets. Yours come in grass seed? Wow. Michelle, how much does Walmart sell the buckets for? No, you said $5. I need to go. Oh, okay. You're talking about the totes. Yeah. It's just the red and the green. I got 6 green ones because I figured green would look okay in the garden. I didn't want to put bright red out there. I read that wrong. Yeah, some of my viewers said that their Walmarts didn't have them, or they didn't have them on sale, but all of the Walmarts are going to run those green and red ones on sale because they were just putting them on display when I was in there the other day when I bought mine. Yesterday, day before, they were just putting them on a stack and marking them down when I walked by. And I looked at the sign and it said $5. She said, yeah, we got them all on sale for $5. And she said there's more around on the other side of the store, but they're the bigger ones. And of course, they're a couple of dollars more, but they're all still on sale. But it's only the red and green. Yeah, it's just the Christmas colors. The red and the green are the only ones that are marked down to $5 of the 18-gallon totes. But the green works. I mean, you know, I don't mind green in the garden. I mean, it's kind of a bright green, so it will stand out, but I figured the red would stand out even worse. But you better get there pretty quick if your Walmart has them, because they don't stay there very long. Once they mark them down, they go pretty fast. I think our 18-gallon totes had gotten up to like $7.98 or something like that. So you're saving about $3 on a tote to buy them now. And I probably should not have bought mine because I was thinking about putting a raised bed, but I think I'd rather have the totes. Yeah, and when the garden green's up, you're not going to notice the green toad anyway. I mean, most everything... Sorry about that, y'all. Most everything in my garden is green, pink, white, gray. You just order 10-gallon grow bags. I've tried the grow bags here, and they don't really work here for me. The grow bags dry out too fast. Now, if you live in an area where it's damp, humid, you get a lot of rainfall, they probably will work real good. But here in Texas, where I'm at in this dry heat, grow bags just do not work very well. You have to water them every single day. So I gave up trying to grow anything in a grow bag. I mean, I'll cut a plastic bag that my potting soil comes in, put holes in the bottom of it, put my soil and compost in there, and I can grow in that because the plastic will help hold moisture inside, where the grow bags breathe all around the outside and they dry out real fast. Now, some people have real good luck with them. But like I said, it just depends on where you live. Yeah, see, I can't water every day. I'm restricted. So I need my pots and containers to hold water in the bottom. And the way I fix my totes and my buckets, they hold a water reserve in the bottom. Yeah, that's why, Michelle. It's Christmas totes, and a lot of people will buy them to pack their Christmas stuff away in, so they come in red and green. So every year, right after Christmas, they clearance them out, and they drop them down to $5. I don't remember how much the other one was because I don't need the bigger ones. The 18-gallon tote is big enough for me, for what I want to use it for. I mean, I guess I could get the biggest ones they had and use it for like a small raised bed. But then I wouldn't be able to move it myself, you know. So I guess the 18-gallon totes are the best. If I go with anything bigger, I can't move it. So if I need to, so I would just go with a raised bed, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I thought about the raised bed, but you can't put well, you can, but it would be very it'd be a very drawn out, detailed thing to make a raised bed with a water reserve in the bottom. A little bit more than I want to do. Well, good for you, T. Sharon. I've got maybe 1 or 2 bags of the small little grape and cherry tomatoes in the freezer, but that's all I got this year. It was just too hot and dry here where I'm at. So, like I said, I'm hoping this summer's going to be better. There's little buddy. He's probably wanting to go out. Yeah, one summer I grew so many squash and zucchini. I was giving squash and zucchini and cucumbers away to everybody. I was making pickles out of squash, zucchini, cucumbers, till I didn't know what to do with all of them. And the very next year, nothing. Yeah, I don't want anything that big. I couldn't move it around and take a lot to fill it. So 18-gallon is big enough to make a little pot to plant vegetables in. I need to plant at least one more tote of garlic. I've got one completely just in garlic. My other ones were onions. But I think I'm going to plant another tote of just garlic. And I need to mark them before I completely forget what I planted there. Oh, the $5 ones were gone. Well, you can order them online, I think. You might be able to order them online and have them delivered to the store and pick them up free. You know, have them, if they're delivered to the store, I think the shipping is free. You just have to go in and pick them up. I know I've done that before with some stuff. They were out in the store, and I ordered it and just had it delivered to the store and just went to the store and picked it up. Mm-mm. I gotta plug this other phone in. It's about dead. You want to go out? Let me let him out. Come on. Good morning, Mom. Greetings and prosperity. Always healthy. Green. Hold care. The world continues to shine bright and fresh. Very good for maintaining the health of our bodies. Thank you. Where are you from, Tatuk? I can't pronounce that name, but welcome, whoever. I mean, I can't pronounce your name. Tatuk, Tatuk. Tatuk. Welcome to our chat. I was checking the connection to that charger. You know what? They do have them, Shelly. Well, I just looked on the Walmart, the app for Walmart here, and it shows $5 for, and those things were 10. These are hefty. Oh my gosh, this is a good deal. They were what, $10.95 or $19.95? They're on sale for $5, and these are the hefty 18-gallon ones. You can order on Walmart's website. The green ones are $7, but they're hefty. It doesn't show the cheaper brand like the ones I got. So they must be sold out of them. Yeah, I knew those 18-gallon totes would be gone for $5. But on the website, you can also order 8 red ones for $55. Or you can get the green hefty 18-gallon ones for $7. Or the red hefty for $5. Just depends on if you want to go with that or not. And they got the fuchsia. That's the ones I got for the Easter garden last year. And they're $53 for 8 of them. But I can't believe on their website, the Sterlite, the ones I got for $5 a piece, are back up to $14.92. The deep dark green is $6.98. They're marked down from $14.99 to $6.98 for an 18-gallon one. And it says if you order them today, you get them delivered tomorrow. And if you deliver them to the store, you don't pay shipping either, so. That's the reason I got on my live Thursday night to tell everybody that those totes were on sale for $5, because I knew they were not going to be there long. Once people walked in that are in the market for those totes and saw them marked down to $5, they were going to grab them. Oh, you're from Indonesia to appreciate Mom's garden. Well, thank you so much. Bet it's beautiful in Indonesia. I'm glad you could come into our live chat today. Wow, Indonesia's a long ways away from here. But you still might want to check your Walmart. I don't remember exactly where you're at. You can check and see what they've got on their website. T. Sharon says, my spelling sucks tonight. Mine sucks all the time. Well, I appreciate you coming to chat from Indonesia to show appreciation for my garden. Thank you very much. T. Sharon says, I ate something. Now it's nap time. Well, I haven't eaten any dinner yet, so I still need to eat. And then I probably will sit on the couch to watch a movie and fall asleep. I don't know. Do they have a lot of earthquakes in Indonesia? Tatuk? I'm not sure I'm anywhere close to pronouncing that name correctly, but Tatuk Hendarto. Yeah, I don't have any idea about Indonesia and what kind of earthquakes they might have there. Yeah, that's one reason I went live Thursday night the way I did. And was it Thursday night? Where I said I had something to tell you. That's what it was. I wanted to make sure I got online and told everybody about those totes being on sale for $5. And there's Joanne. All we are having in North Carolina is, yeah, so tired of rain. Well, I heard my brother had put on Facebook yesterday or day before and said something about snow. Have you had any snow? Joanne? Tatuk said, I just cooked garbage soup for Happy Sunday. I'm fine in Indonesia, Mom. Thank you very, very much. Huh. For Happy Sunday. How's the temperature there, Joanne? You know, I'm from an area right on the East Coast in North Carolina, close to Wilmington. You're in the foothills, okay. What town are you close to? That might give me a real good idea of where you're located, opposed to where my hometown is. My hometown in North Carolina is just 20 miles inland from Wrightsville and Carolina Beach, Wilmington. Lenore, hey, Lenore is not that far, you know, from where my hometown was, I don't think. Seems like I've heard of Lenore a lot before. I don't think I've ever been there. But I live in Texas now, so. Born and raised in, I can't read all that word because it's behind the heart. Boring, Kansas. Here, LOL. Close to Boone. My ex-husband is from an area close to Boone. Vale, you've probably heard of that. If you're close to Boone, then you've heard of Vale, North Carolina. That's where my ex-husband lives. He inherited his parents' farm and house, so that's where he lives now. His parents are dead. He inherited the house and farm. His dad was principal of 2 schools there. I don't know what your age is or how you are with school kids or what, but his dad, Eli Hauser, was principal of 2 schools in that area for many, many years. I mean, that was his life profession. And his wife worked in the cafeteria at one of the schools. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Vale. Vale. It's not too far from Boone and Black Mountain area. I know we always had to go through Charlotte to get to Vale from where I lived on the East Coast, where my family was from. It's been real humid here. Yeah. It was always real humid back in my hometown. All the time. It just got worse sometimes, but it was humid every day. But it's great for your complexion. It's great. It was great for my hair. And we never used city water. We always pumped our own water. So our water did not have chemicals in it. So that was great for your skin as well. And since I've left there and come to Texas, all I've used is city water with chemicals and all this garbage in it, which is terrible for your skin. It's terrible for your hair. I picked Tippy up to massage her throat because she was choking, and Sai was so concerned that when I put Tippy down, I had to pick up Sasa and rub her too until she was ready to get home. Yeah, what you do to one, you got to do to the other one, don't you? They'll get jealous of one another if you don't. Yeah, it's always humid in my little hometown, Atkinson, North Carolina. There's just times when it was more humid where I remember sometimes you step outside, out your front door, and it was like stepping in a hot shower. I mean, you know how when your shower gets all steamed up, you're breathing hot steam? That's the way it was. I mean, there was so much humidity in the air. You just open your front door and step out, and it's like stepping out in a hot shower. It would be admirable to remain vigilant in discipline of science and educate in parts of the country. Yes, it would, Tatuk, Hendarto. I agree. I don't know why they put that heart where it's located. It always blocks off the end of someone's chat if it's the last chat posted. Yeah, I thought it was just education. Yes, that would be admirable to cook. To took, to took. It would be admirable to stay vigilant in the discipline of science and education in all parts of the country because it's so different from one country to another. The climate's different. Everything is different sometimes. I couldn't figure out what the 9 was, but now I get it. I had to type something in to get the chat to go up a notch to where I could see what was behind the heart. The heart always blocks the end of someone's post if they're the last person that sends a post up. Like Susan, it's blocking the end of yours now. It says, I couldn't figure out, and then it stops. And then it jumps down to what the 9 was. I don't know what's behind the heart after out. Well, I'm getting hungry. I know y'all are probably hungry, the ones of you haven't eaten yet. Nothing. I see now there was nothing back there. Sometimes though it's right, it's got a word behind it, or it's got half of a word, or 2/3 of a word. It's hidden by the heart, and you don't know what's behind there. You ate while you were listening. Do you have a garden in Indonesia where you live, Tatuk? 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 Hendarto? Do you garden where you live in Indonesia? You have vegetables growing there? Talked to Jesse and played with the babies. Is there the most important call for the large number of goods produced in the growth of human civilization there, Mom? Yes, there is. I mean, people have to eat, so if you can't have a garden, that means you got to buy everything from the store. And the prices are getting so expensive right now. A lot of people can't afford to buy a lot at the stores. So the alternative is to grow your own food. Have a garden in your yard. Grow your own food. Grow zucchini, squash, tomatoes, watermelon, melons. Grow greens, peas, beans, whatever you can grow in your garden. So yes, there's a most important call for a large number of goods produced in the growth of human civilization in the U.S. There most certainly is. I mean, many, many years ago, people solely relied on what they could grow or produce at home. They didn't have a local store to go to buy anything. If you didn't grow it at home or you didn't raise it at home, like a cow, chicken, stuff like that, you didn't eat. You didn't have food. Well, I guess everybody's getting kind of tired of looking at my face, aren't you? I think since we've been on, it says 3 hours and 29 minutes, we'll soon flip over to 30 minutes. I guess we're going to have to say goodnight, y'all. I don't want to wear you out in chat. And I don't know if my chat is frozen or what the deal is here. But anyway, I'm glad that each and every one of you came into my live chat, even though it was at the spur of the moment. I appreciate each and every one of you. Love each and every one of you. Please tell everybody to like, share, and most of all, watch my videos. And I'll see you on my next one. Love y'all. Bye.